Hi guys, and welcome to today's lesson. So we're going to be carrying on with this study of a Carolus-Duran painting from the 19th century. And we're using it as a way to look at how we can get sort of painterly techniques and certainly develop an understanding of paintings working on in a digital medium like Procreate or using Photoshop or other sorts of things. So a little bit of what we're going to be doing is making corrections to the shapes that we're looking at. I'm going to do everything on a separate layer so that we can sort of see the changes we've made each session. And this would be a bit like if we created this would be called a dead colouring stage of a painting, and we're kind of now going in and developing things a bit more. So I want to add a little bit more width to the face because it feels a bit narrow mine. And I'm going to do it sort of towards the back. I'm using a fairly smallish brush. Make it a little bit darker there. And pull the cheek colour out a little bit. Yeah, and that's made quite a big difference just to the likeness being a bit more accurate. I'm going to pull this kind of lighter pink tone across as well. Add a little bit of that to the side of the lip, and then I'm going to have to push the hair out as well. So a lot of that would have just been done kind of like quickly because we were working in a sort of sketchy way. So this is where we're using it as an opportunity to refine things basically. And then probably a little pass of black over the ear as well, so we want that to go a little bit darker. Yeah, that's looking a bit better. And then we also want to just expand the nose shadow across a little bit as well, so making the face a little bit wider, that kind of thing is always going to have kind of knock-on effects. So I also want to make a slightly kind of more greenish halftone that's present here and there. Or at least I kind of identify it as a little bit greenish. So you get a little bit of maybe kind of next to the eye. We had a bit of it there at the bridge of the nose at the top. Sort of comes a little bit around, I think, the black, so it's almost greyish as well as greenish. But it's sort of kind of nice because it breaks up a little bit the excessive, well, not excessive, but the warmth of the piece. It's kind of nice to always have like little shifts of warm and cool here and there. I'm making the tip of the nose a little bit cooler right now, having said that. So making that warmer. And then I also want to get a little bit of a highlight for the nose and make it quite small. And a sort of whitish, full whitish highlight there. And something kind of high chroma-ish for the top of the bridge of the nose. Maybe not quite that high chroma, but a little bit lighter. So just trying to develop the form along the bridge of the nose a little bit here. Yeah, that's looking a bit better. And then we also want to start to develop some more distinction in the lids of the eye. So both the upper and lower lids. And I want to push some more pinkish, lighter pinkish tones around the right-hand side of the face. So just trying to nail the right colour for these light tones. Make them sprawl a little bit more as well. Just a little bit more chroma there. Yeah, it seems a little bit more accurate colour-wise. I want to sprawl the pinks in the other cheek a bit as well. So the lighter pinks are a little bit probably isolated. add a little bit more pink to the chin as well. I want to make this lighter tone actually travel a bit further down the jaw and pretty much meet the neck. So that's something that we didn't quite get to last week, was kind of getting the neck and the, probably almost one of these greenish colours actually suits the neck. But yeah, getting the neck and the head to sort of tie together more so. And some nice kind of like really intense dark green blues popping behind the face as well. Yeah, that's looking a lot better. Probably pull the underside of the jaw up a little bit. And I'm not too fussed about it like having a slightly sort of scratchy look to it in terms of how we approach the rendering, just because the original kind of has that feel to it as well, the brushwork. So I'm trying to kind of look at the brushwork while I'm working on this, so you're not just ending up with something that looks like it's totally digital or hasn't kind of considered the feel of the original. So again, just getting some of these like kind of greenish tones in a little bit. That's looking better. And then going to make the brush a little bit bigger and just put some sort of more transitions, these kind of darker greens and stuff that we've got behind the hair, kind of melting into the hair a little bit. A nice adds a little bit more variety to the background as well. And then the blacks. Merge in a little bit. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Get a smaller brush here. I'm just going to have a look at the eye, kind of reshape. We don't see much of the iris or the pupil in either eye, really. You see a little bit more in this right-hand eye. On this side, it's kind of, her eyes are kind of closed and it's sort of slightly obscured. There is a little bit of a suggestion of it if I make it really small. You can sort of just see the top of the lid there. And we've got a lash sticking out. little bit warmer. Yeah, that's not looking too bad now. I might just connect up. So I want to make the form of the cheek kind of just stick up a little bit more. Fairly happy with the lips overall. Maybe a little bit more of a highlight on the lips would be good. Just kind of lighter pink. And just lift the shoulder up a little bit. And final thing I'll do is just kind of neaten a little bit the shapes in the hair. They don't have to be super detailed, the hair, but we just want a little bit more of these kind of greenish tones kind of appear in the highlights. Maybe just make them a touch grayer and wash some kind of black into them just to mute most of them down a little bit more than they are. Just reduce a tiny bit into this lip. A bit more detail at the corner there. Maybe pull. little upturn in the mouth at that corner of the mouth sort of helps a bit, I think, so I'm quite glad with that change. And yeah, overall, that's looking pretty good. I think we're just about finished there. I'll maybe go a little bit more strong with the warmth under this chin. That reflected light. Pull the dark up into a little bit as well. That black down a little bit. And yeah, that's pretty good, I think. There's obviously, like, you could just keep going and it could end up looking identical, being a digital piece and all. But yeah, the main thing is kind of using it as an exercise to get used to the way you'd approach a piece like this. So if I kind of flick back and forth, you can just sort of see the development in the piece. So it's just a lot more rounded. Certainly the shapes are corrected relative to the original. Still not perfect, but pretty close. Not unhappy with it, given it was a size exercise. But yeah, this is a good thing if you kind of keep separate layers and you sort of work in passes. Just kind of flick back and forth and see the changes that you've made. I sometimes talk to students as well about, you can sort of see how much you did in each layer. So this was the first pass, which I think was the first part of the first session. And that was doing essentially like a wash drawing in brown. So this was like you had a toned canvas, you did some burnt umber or a dark brown, you did your drawing. That's the first pass. That's all you'd need to get in. Your second layer, which was what we did at the second part of last session, the first session, is the original colour block in. And that just included adding this much tone. So you can see there's a lot of places wherever it's white, no paint would have been added to that layer. This is why it's kind of useful to do it digitally, because it shows you, it's not as much as you would think. You sort of see, if I put the backing behind, so this is the first layer, that fills a lot in. So it would only be this much paint that you're adding to this very simple sketch in order to get to this stage. Likewise, today, all we've added is about this much. So you can see the areas where we had to rework more than others. But yeah, it's sort of interesting to have a look at that, sort of see, it shows you how the painting is structured. So if we kind of go, this is the top layer, second layer, bottom layer, and vice versa. This is with all the layers going backwards. So yeah, just wanted to go through that because it kind of helps give you some sort of idea of how much you'd maybe be adding each stage if things go fairly well. But you can see that's a pretty straightforward way of constructing a painting. This is why so many portrait painters and traditional painters through up until the 19th century, when it sort of hit its peak, representational painting, this is how they worked. It's a very useful, straightforward system to paint within. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you have any questions, definitely write them below and I'll get back to you. I'll probably be doing some more digital, I think, for the next sort of few sets of lessons, because they've been going quite well. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this kind of look at merging traditional approaches with digital. As always, follow us on YouTube if you want to stay up to date with the new videos that I'm releasing and other teachers and students from the platform. And you can also click the link in the description through to our website to see what sorts of paid qualifications we offer as well. So yeah, that's it for this week, and I'll see you guys soon.